Bedtime with Mrs. Honeybee. Today, we'll be exploring the world of Pokémon.
Pokémon are special, and they need our special care.
Close your eyes and see the brilliantly colorful forested world of Pokémon. You are surrounded by green grass that is almost as tall as you are. Your head peeks up just above it, giving you an expansive, breathtaking view of the Viridian Forest. High up on a cliff against the backdrop of a lightly clouded blue sky, you can see Professor Oak's research lab. There's a gentle, warm breeze that whistles while it dances invisibly around you. It picks up the tips of the grass, then twists and bends them gracefully back down. Beyond this grassy clearing, the trees are full and endless, one after another, with beams of sunlight shining in the spaces between them. The sunbeams light up a dirt path that trails through the trees. Let's walk toward the path. Reach your hand out in front of you, and with each step forward, brush the tall green grass to one side. Feel its softness pushing gently back against your fingertips, your arms, and your legs as you make your way toward the path. Each step, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, leaves an imprint in the earth beneath you. Keep making footprints in this world, sinking in ever so slightly until you feel the sturdy earth push back against your weight and support your forward motion. Focus on breathing the fresh forest air in through your nose and out through your mouth. Continue walking and focusing on your breath until you reach the dirt path and hear the sounds of chirping birds in the trees above. With a little hop, you step both feet onto the dirt path and begin to follow it to Professor Oak's research lab. It's cool here beneath the trees, and you can sense that the forest is full of all sorts of Pokémon that you will meet on this quest. A faint rustling sound seems to follow along with you as you stroll through this peaceful place. Something is hiding in the grass that blankets the forest floor and lines the path you are on. What is it? You see a small bright orange creature peeking through the grass at you, but as soon as it sees you, it scurries further ahead, out of sight. You quiet your steps and crouch down, tiptoeing in the direction of the shaking grass to follow this creature. As you quietly follow closer and closer, you can see that it has now stopped. It's sitting down in the grass with its back toward you, and it doesn't realize you are there. You stand still for a moment, not wanting to startle it. A yellowish-orange pointed flame flickers and twists in the gentle breeze that flows through the forest. This must be a wild Charmander. How should you approach it? Before you can decide, you hear something hushing you. You look over your shoulder and see Professor Oak in his white lab coat. waving you toward him, away from Charmander. You tiptoe over to him. In a whispered voice, he explains that he has been studying this wild Charmander for a while.
My research has taught me that we need to deal with Pokémon like we need to deal with people, as individuals, if we want to discover their mysteries.
And it's very weary of people. No Pokémon trainer has been able to get close to it, and no one can figure out why.
Pokémon are special, and they need our special care.
Just then, you hear a little voice squeak, and the wild Charmander leaps from the grass and stands tiny before you both on the dirt path, ready for battle. The once flickering flame at the end of its tail is now a crackling blaze that sends smoke up through the trees. You can feel a similar flame of energy responding to the situation in your chest. Excitement at meeting a Charmander, anticipation of what will happen next, curiosity about why this wild Charmander will not let people near it. With both feet solidly on the earth beneath you, take a deep breath in through your nose and feed the flame in your chest with fresh, warm air. Feel your ribcage expand to accommodate the growing flame of this thrilling moment without reacting to it. When you exhale, use your belly to blow the air out of your mouth, emptying your ribcage and trying to blow the crackling flame in your chest down to a flicker. As you do, you can see worry in Charmander's big blue eyes, so you continue to stay still and calm. In the stillness, Charmander's blazing tail lessens back down to a flicker. Its eyes and demeanor soften, and it begins to walk towards you with its tiny teeth peeking out from the sides of a smile. Professor Oak, who jumped back behind you, nervous from all of the commotion, sits in awe that this wild Charmander is approaching you.
If we care for them the way we care for those we love, we'll be able to live in peace.
It holds out its tiny arms for a warm, squeezing hug, and you hug it gently. The not-so-wild Charmander now stands beside and slightly behind you. It trusts you and your ability to calm yourself. Professor Oak, still in awe, explains that while he studies Pokémon to understand their strengths and weaknesses, their characteristics and appearances, you have encouraged a response from Charmander that he couldn't.
On your journeys, you each capture different Pokémon, and with your different personalities, you learn to understand and care for them in different ways.
You stood calmly confident in an otherwise chaotic moment, offered gentleness to Charmander, and communicated that you trust it so it can trust you. That's a trait Professor Oak's only seen in the best Pokémon trainers. He goes on to explain that there are a few wild Pokémon in the Viridian Forest that he and his team have not been able to approach. But if someone with your ability could, these Pokémon could evolve to their strongest form. You happily accept this challenge and look down to your side at Charmander's big blue eyes looking happily up at you. Before Professor Oak leaves you to your quest, he hands you a Pokédex and a Pokéball to record all that you learn. You are now an important part of his team because you are willing to exchange love and trust with Pokémon and are willing to learn from them instead of merely battling them against each other. You decide to wander off the dirt path, between the trees, deeper into the forest that is blanketed with soft green grass. Charmander squeaks a joyful as it hops alongside you. The flame on its tail is now just a spark. You notice that Charmander's tail flame grows when it's excited or angry and lessens when it's relaxed or happy. Bring your attention back to your chest where your inner flame lives. Like Charmander, your inner flame can expand and lessen in response to what's happening around you. But as you taught Charmander, you also have the ability to interact with your inner flame. If you want to expand it, you can breathe it onto a roaring fire. If you want to relax it, you can breathe it out back down to a flicker. Charmander is hopping happily through the forest, making games out of jumping over the grass and around the large tree trunks. It disappears behind one of the trees ahead of you. As you get closer to the tree, you notice that its joyful squeaking stops. You then see a stream of smoke billowing from behind the tree. Something must have scared Charmander and made his tail flame erupt. Tiptoeing up slowly to the tree, you place both hands on the barky tree trunk as you peek around it to get a glimpse of what has startled Charmander. On the other side, it's hissing and crackling with fear and hostility, preparing to protect both of you by using its blaze ability to battle something moving in the ground. All you can see is the forest greenery, glistening in the sunbeams that make their way through the treetops. Grasses swaying in the breeze and lush plants growing on the forest floor. What is scaring Charmander? You step out from behind the tree to get a better view. One plant in particular appears to be wiggling its leaves as Charmander hisses its flame in that direction. There are 5 pointed, glossy leaves sticking up from the earth. Looking closer, you can see little eyes peeking up from the soil. This is Oddish, a weed-type Pokémon. Oddish grounds itself by burying its roots deep in the forest soil, studying its abilities beneath the surface and only allowing its leaves to be visible. It absorbs nutrients from the soil below and uses them to make its leaves as strong and shiny as possible. When its leaves are as strong and shiny as possible, they can reach to the sky and soak up the sunshine from above to shine even more and experience joy. You calmly and confidently call Charmander back to your Pokeball and hold it tightly in your hand to show Charmander how to manage its blaze with its breath and imagination. Holding the shiny Pokeball in your hand, focus your attention again on your inner flame. Imagine it as an orange triangle that glows in your chest. As you breathe in deeply through your nose, imagine that this triangle gets bigger and bigger still, grows out from your chest, big enough to fit your entire body in it. As you breathe out through your mouth, imagine that your head rests in the point of the triangle and your feet stand on the horizontal base. This orange glowing triangle of your creation holds all of you within it. Breathe in deeply through your nose again, and like Oddish, imagine the glow at the bottom of the triangle intensifying. Imagine you are absorbing the strength of your inner flame like nutrients from the soil into your feet, legs, and hips. As you breathe out through your mouth, allow this glowing base to stabilize and calm you. Channel this glowing feeling from your base through your strong spine out to each of your shoulders and down your arms, directly into the Pokeball holding Charmander. Standing inside the strength and energy of your inner flame, feel the joy and warmth that surround you in this world. Oddish uproots itself from the soil and hops into your Pokédex to accompany you on the rest of your quest. It has shown you how to absorb goodness into yourself and experience it as passion within you. Looking back down at the shiny Pokeball in your hand, you throw it into the forest to release the Pokémon within. With your help and intention, Charmander evolved into its next form. A bigger, more brightly orange Charmeleon emerges from the Pokeball with a flash. By not fearing your inner flame or diminishing it unnecessarily, you can evolve your inner flame like Charmander into Charmeleon. You and Charmeleon continue on, strolling through the forest, hopping into and out of the beams of sunlight that shine through the trees. Hopping into a beam of sunshine warms your skin as the light shines down from the blue sky above. The shade's coolness is sharp as you hop back out of the sunlight, and it makes the little hairs on your arms prickly. Charmeleon spins circles around you, and the heat from its blazing happy tail flame warms you, even in the shade. You pull out the Pokédex that Professor Oak gave you at the beginning of this quest. It's almost full, as he mentioned, because his team has been collecting Pokémon information for a long time. You scroll through all the entries as you walk. There's adorable Jigglypuff, then Wigglytuff, then Zubat, Goldbot, and Oddish, which you caught. You notice there's a blank entry after Oddish where its evolution Gloom should be. Professor Oak's team must not have been able to find one yet. Let's try to find a Gloom and see what we can learn from or teach it. Gloom is another weed Pokémon, so you begin to focus your attention on the grass that blankets the ground as you and Charmeleon continue to bounce through the forest. The gentle warm breeze whistles while it dances with Charmeleon's flickering tail flame. It picks up the tips of the grass, then twists and bends them gracefully back down. As the grass bends into the wind, it reveals tiny purple flowers below that struggle to stand tall and point their petals to the sun. You reach down with a gentle hand and pluck a single purple flower to carry with you. You raise the bloom up to your nose and take a deep breath in. Smell its sweet fragrance and feel your lungs fill with the grassy forest air. Then breathe out calmly through your mouth. How will you find a gloom among all of this greenery? Charmeleon perks up alongside you and directs your attention to a chopped down tree stump just ahead. Sitting on top, ever so pleasantly, is a Growlithe. As a puppy Pokémon, Growlithe has an incredible sense of smell. Not only does it remember every scent it has ever smelled, but it can also use its sense of smell to know how people and things around it are feeling. You and Charmeleon were so happy strolling through the Viridian Forest with such kindness that Growlithe sniffed you two out and came here to meet you. Growlithe climbs down from the tree stump like a little striped tiger, but it has a bushy mane that flows like a lion. As it prances toward you and Charmeleon, a small inner flame glows orange in its chest. This inner flame connects all three of you together in this world. Inner flames are strongest when they are surrounded by and connected to others' inner flames. The three of you feel intensely connected, and because of this, Growlithe also wants to help you on your quest. You pull out the Pokédex again and show Growlithe the missing Gloom entry. It immediately stops prancing and focuses its attention on its nose that is pointed straight up in the air. It uses the breeze like a map, pointing its snout in one direction, then taking big sniffing breaths in and out. Then it points its snout in another direction and breathes in and out again. As it dutifully points and sniffs its snout in every possible direction, you mimic Growlithe by gently closing your eyes and pointing your nose at the sky. Feel the sun's warmth on your face as the brightest light of all worlds shines through your eyelids. A faint roar brings you back to your quest. Growlithe has picked up on Gloom's scent and will lead you to it. Gloom is a weed and poison type Pokémon that thrives off sunshine. It has a long green stem and 2 leaves that sprout from each side of the stem like wide open arms. At the top of the stem sits a bright red blooming flower. As long as Gloom remains calm and peaceful in the sunshine, it gives off a sweet flowery fragrance that fills the world with joy. But when it cannot feel the shining light of the sun and is consumed by its absence, it fills its world with a toxic poison instead. Growlithe's sniffing snout directs you and Charmeleon to run through the forest fast, eager to get to Gloom as quickly as possible. Before you can even ask yourself why this is, you are running through the tall grass, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. The sunshine softens behind the veil of a cloud that has floated in front of it, and a dim grayness washes over the Viridian forest. Growlithe arrives at the grassy clearing where Gloom is first, followed by you and Charmeleon. Growlithe's empathetic snout whimpers a sad sound. Gloom cannot feel the bright shining light of the sun and is beginning to wilt from the toxic poison stirring within. It needs to learn how to calm itself and nurture its inner flame, which you know how to do very well. As you did when you first encountered Charmander in the wild, you decide to use your breath and your imagination to calm your mind and strengthen your inner flame. You calmly and confidently call Charmeleon back to your Pokeball and hold it tightly in your hand with the intention of showing Charmeleon how to enlarge its blaze and protect itself when needed.
Charmeleon.
This is one of Growlithe's strengths as a puppy Pokemon, protecting its territory from negative forces, whether they come from the outside, like the clouds blocking the sun, or the inside, like Gloom's toxic poison. Growlithe is barking and glowing next to you as you plant both of your feet in the grassy, soft earth beneath you. Holding the shiny Pokeball in your hand, focus your attention again on your inner flame as a glowing orange triangle. As you breathe in deeply through your nose, the triangle again gets bigger and bigger still. It grows out from your chest, big enough to fit your entire body in it. As you breathe out through your mouth, imagine that your head rests in the point of the triangle. Your arms extend down along the sides, and your feet stand on the horizontal base. This orange glowing triangle of your creation holds all of you within it. Breathe in deeply through your nose again and imagine the glow intensifying up from the base along both sides of the triangle. Like Growlithe protecting its territory, the sides form a protective barrier around you as they reach up toward the point where both sides meet. As you breathe out through your nose, send this glowing feeling out to each of your wide open arms that reach as far as they can, like Gloom's leaves extend from its stem. Standing inside the strength and energy of your inner flame, feel its warmth and protection burn the gray clouds away. The bright sunshine returns. Gloom perks back up, filled with sunshine, and is again able to give the world its sweet, flowery fragrance. Growlithe is overjoyed to have helped you and Gloom. It chases its bushy tail in happy circles before it hops into your Pokédex. Walking toward a nearby dirt path, You are proud of how you have both learned from and helped the wild Pokémon you've met on your quest so far. Professor Oak was right to ask you to help his research team collect the rest of the Pokédex information. You can see a single sunbeam shining down on Gloom, making its bloom even more vibrant. In this sunbeam, it looks like the air is sparkling. It looks as if tiny granules of glass are reflecting the sun's light in every direction and floating through the air directly to Gloom. These sparkling particles lightly dust the area around Gloom. More and more fall down from the sunbeam and begin to form a small pile. You bend down to brush your fingertips across it. It feels like sand. You cup the shimmering substance carefully in both of your hands. Some of it slips through your fingers as you hold it up just in front of you. You take one last deep breath in through your nose, feeling the warm, sunny air fill your lungs. When you breathe out through your mouth, gently blow on the shimmering pile in your hands, giving the Pokémon world the warmth and possibility of your inner flame. Your breath disperses the pile and completely covers Gloom in a shimmering cloud, so much that you can no longer see even its bloom. As the cloud dissipates and falls colorlessly back to the ground, a beautiful Bellossom appears in front of you, wearing two brilliantly red blossoms on its head and leaves hanging down around its stem like a magnificent gown. Your inner flame was as warm as the sun and helped evolve Gloom into its strongest form. Bellossom spins in the sunlight, dancing to the far-off sound of a Pokéflute playing softly in the distance. This was the last Pokémon Professor Oak needed. You've helped him find and learn about all the wild Pokémon. As the Pokéflute awakens the entire Pokémon world, you sway gently back and forth with the wind. Imagine that you are walking into a magical, enchanted forest full of different kinds of Pokémon. You feel very safe and happy while you're in this forest. You feel the leaves crunching under your feet. Look up at the trees as you walk past them and notice how they sway with the wind. Left, right, left, right. The trees sway back and forth silently. Up ahead, you see a boy with a red and white hat and a small, furry creature. As you get closer, you realize it's Ash and Pikachu. They must be looking for Pokémon. Pikachu runs up and gives you a big hug. All you hear is Pikachu then runs around you in circles, excitedly spinning around. You slowly spin around with Pikachu as he giggles and you fall onto the soft and warm grass. Pikachu lays down next to you and nuzzles against your side. Laying on the warm grass, the sun is shining high above you in the sky. Do you see any clouds in the sky? What do the clouds look like? Feeling safe with Pikachu by your side, breathe in deeply through your nose and breathe out through your mouth as you continue to admire the blue sky above. The clouds are slow moving and many different shapes. Watching them pass by is very, very relaxing. Ash sits down next to you and begins running his fingers through the thick green grass.
I'm Ash from Pallet Town.
He tells stories of battling Pokémon and trainers in faraway lands.
I'm a Pokemon master.
As you listen, you feel the warm sensation of tall, soft grass against your body.
Can't beat me.
Laying in this grass is relaxing and very comfortable. So comfortable that your eyes slowly begin to close. Slowly, Pikachu taps your side and runs up ahead. I wonder what he found. You and Ash spring to your feet and chase after Pikachu. You feel the wind on your face as you run past trees blowing in the wind. Just up ahead, you see Pikachu playing in a bush. The bush is very big and has lots and lots of leaves. What is Pikachu doing? You hear low growling as you get closer. You're walking very slowly. When out of the bush comes a Bulbasaur. It's little and green, just like the bushes it was hiding in. You walk a little closer and see that it's a very friendly Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.
The Bulbasaur rubs on your leg like a large cat and smiles up at you. You pet Bulbasaur on the head. You slowly look around, but where did Pikachu go? He must be further up ahead. Okay, bye-bye, Bulbasaur. You breathe in deeply and smell the cool fall air as it swirls around you. You are surrounded by a large forest with towering oak trees. They are so big and tall and watching over you as you chase after Pikachu. The trees are smiling down on you, protecting you as you travel through the forest. Feel a large smile come across your face. You feel the warmth of the sun as it touches your skin, and you are reminded that you are loved. You are loved and you are special. You feel a warmth inside you as you are reminded about your special journey to see Professor Oak. Once you reach Professor Oak, he will have options for you to choose your very own Pokémon. Up ahead, you see a clearing where the trees stop. As you get closer, you can hear the sounds of a babbling brook. As you get even closer, you can smell fresh water and know that a river is just up ahead. You pause on the edge of the forest to take a deep breath in, and you notice the beautiful view. A big, beautiful mountain is far off in the distance, and you can see ice-cold snow falling at the very tippy top. You notice how warm the sun feels on your face and how warm you feel inside. You breathe in deeply through your nose and exhale through your mouth. You are warm, comfortable, and inside you feel peace.
Pika Pika.
Again, you hear and know that Pikachu must be close. In the river up ahead, you can hear splashing, so you eagerly walk down to see what's making that noise. Playing in the river is a wild Blastoise. He's very big and blue and has a large shell on his back. You can see the Blastoise swimming around in the water, enjoying himself. It looks like he's having a lot of fun. Blastoise sees you in the distance, and a big smile comes across his face. He motions for you to come over to the water. As you get closer, the smell of fresh water fills your lungs, and you are happy to be here. Blastoise is splashing around on the edge of the water. He wants to play with you. Slowly, you take off your right shoe, then left shoe, then right sock, and left sock. Your toes touch the water and it's warm. The river feels like warm bath water, and you slowly immerse yourself. First your feet, then your knees, then your arms. Now the water is around your shoulders, and you now begin to swim after Blastoise. Left stroke, right stroke, left stroke, right stroke. You feel the water as it glides past your entire body. You feel weightless and free. You continue to swim faster and faster without any effort. Left stroke, right stroke, left stroke, right stroke. Blastoise swims underneath you and lifts you up upon his big turtle-like shell. You emerge from the water, completely sitting on top of his shell. You again feel the warmth of the sun on your face. The air is warm. It wraps around you like a tight hug from a warm blanket as you inhale deeply. You ask Blastoise if he knows the way to Professor Oak's. Blastoise points across the river, then slowly brings you to the other side and sets you down on land. You are feeling very grateful as you say goodbye to Blastoise and continue walking ahead. With no shoes on, you can feel the warmth of the sand in between your toes as it engulfs each foot with every step. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. With each step you feel lighter and walking is easy. Ahead, you see many trees and large rocks covered by overgrown bushes. The rocks are stacked very, very high, so high that you cannot even see the top. As you approach, one of the rocks appears to be moving, and out pops a wild Geodude. Geodude is very small. He's about your size, and he has so much energy. He's moving around so quickly you can barely keep up, and before you know it, he's gone back up the rocks. The rocks in front of you are very tall and are very easy to climb. You grab onto the first rock and feel its cold, jagged exterior on the inside of your warm palm. With your left hand, you grip another rock and pull yourself up. You reach with your right arm, then reach with your left arm and pull yourself up. Again, reach with your right arm, reach with your left arm, and pull yourself up. You keep climbing up until your forehead is full of sweat and you are almost at the top. Don't look down now because you're very high and can almost touch the clouds. Reach with your right arm, reach with your left arm, and pull yourself up. Again, reach with your right arm, then reach with your left arm, and pull yourself up. You've made it to the top of the rocks. As you stand up straight, notice the clouds in the sky, the mountains in the distance, and the forest full of trees. Notice how you feel now that you are standing on the top of the world. As you are enjoying the view, you recognize Professor Oak's house off in the distance. Ah, maybe that's where Pikachu went. Let's check it out. You slowly climb down from the wall with first your left foot, then right foot, then left hand, then right hand. Left foot, right foot, left hand, right hand. You repeat this process until you are firmly back on the ground and you head back into the forest. As you approach, you see Professor Oak standing out front of his house in a long white lab coat with a maroon-colored button-up underneath. He stands very tall and looks a lot older than you. Next to him is a Charmander who's playing in the grass a few feet away. From the outside, his house is beautiful and very big. As you get closer, Charmander hides behind Professor Oak's leg and pokes his little head out. Sometimes Charmander gets a little nervous around people he doesn't know. Professor Oak then motions you to come over. Ah, you've just arrived in time, he says. We're about to start our body scan exercise. Meet me inside. Professor Oak opens the front door of his house, and you slowly walk in. Inside is an enormous Pokémon training center with many Pokémon and their trainers already busy working. Off on the right side, getting ready, you see Ash and Pikachu, and are greeted by 10 other Pokémon and their trainers. You see Eevee, Snorlax, Ditto, Jigglypuff, Jengar, and a Vulpix stretching on their yoga mats. The room smells like fresh fruit, and the sun is beaming in brightly through the windows. Inside, you feel calm as Professor Oak asks for everyone to get on their mats.
Pokemon are special, and they need our special care. Just like every other living creature, they deserve our consideration and our respect.
Ash walks over and hands you his yoga mat and says, "You can share with me today."
Way to go! My Pokemon rule!
Professor Oak's voice comes from the front of the room.
Hello there, and welcome to the world of Pokemon.
Let's begin in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The room falls completely silent as Professor Oak continues.
My name is Professor Oak. I'm often referred to as the Professor of Pokemon. There are some very interesting creatures that inhabit this world.
First, let your body relax a bit. Reach up high above your head, stretching your arms, stretching your body very tall. Now let your arms relax and loosely place them at your sides. Professor Oak looks over at Snorlax, who is sprawled out on his back. Now remember, Snorlax, You have to participate. You can't just lay there. As you look around, you notice the smiles on the Pokemon's faces all around you. Professor Oak says, do the same thing again, but this time, breathe in as you reach up. Stretch, and now breathe out as you relax and place your arms at your sides. Professor Oak now has his eyes closed and seems very focused on his own breathing. Without opening his eyes, Professor Oak says, let's all breathe together. Ready? Breathe in through your nose, hold it, and breathe out through your mouth. Good. Let's do it again. Breathe in through your nose, hold it, and breathe out through your mouth. Great job. Keep breathing deeply and slowly, in and out, in and out. Okay, now just the Pokemon. Breathe in deeply and exhale. Good. Now just the trainers. Breathe in deeply and then exhale. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. Feel both of your hands moving up as you breathe in and down as you breathe out. Feel your hands moving with your chest and stomach, gently moving in and out with each breath. Imagine that there's a candle in front of you. You can even hold up one finger in front of your mouth and pretend it's a candle if you like. As you breathe out, blow the air out through your mouth very slowly. Feel the air on your finger. Imagine that you are blowing enough air to make the flame of the candle flicker, but not enough to blow it out. You will need to blow very softly. When you breathe in, imagine that the flame of the candle flickers and leans toward you. As you breathe out, the flame flickers and leans away. Imagine the flame of the candle moving in and out with each breath you take. Another way your breathing can relax you is to breathe like different Pokémon. Do you know how a Pikachu breathes? A Pikachu uses short and quick breaths. Let's all practice breathing like Pikachu. Breathe in quickly and breathe out quickly. Breathe in quickly and breathe out quickly. Good. Let's take a second to stabilize our breathing. Just breathe normally for a few moments. Now imagine that you are like a Meowth purring.
That's right.
Breathe in, and as you breathe out, purr. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out, and purr. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out, and purr. just like meow. Just relax now for a moment, feeling your whole body releasing tension. Your arms and legs are very loose and relaxed. Professor Oak announces, next up is my new favorite breathing technique called Snorlax belly breaths. Imagine that every time you breathe in air, your tummy fills up and is as big as Snorlax's belly. And then, when you breathe out, your tummy goes back to its regular size. Let's do 3 Snorlax belly breaths now. Breathe in slowly until your belly is nice and big. Then hold it, and then breathe out slowly. Breathe in slowly until your belly is nice and big. Then hold it, and then breathe out slowly. Breathe in slowly until your belly is nice and big. Then hold it, and then breathe out slowly. Professor Oak has a little smile on his face as he turns to Snorlax and says, "You did a great job with your Snorlax belly breaths." Snorlax smiles back and is very pleased with himself. For the next few moments, just relax, resting. It feels good to relax and be calm. Enjoy this feeling. You hear the sounds of Pokémon starting to get restless, and then you hear a particular sound you recognize. Professor Oak finishes the meditation and wakes up Snorlax, who is now asleep. Professor Oak says, "I hope you all enjoyed our meditation today. I hope that you feel the love in your heart for yourselves and your Pokémon. Now go forth and carry that light with you." You look at Ash next to you. He smiles. "I love doing this kind of stuff with Pikachu. Did you get to pick a Pokémon from Professor Oak yet? You remember the original reason for your mission, to get a Pokémon. The thought of having your very own Pokémon to go on adventures with excites you. You think of all the things you would teach your little Pokémon and how well you would train it. As the other trainers hang up their gear and shuffle out of the room, Professor Oak lingers in the front, talking with a few trainers. You feel a tug on your pant leg and hear, "It's Pikachu. He's found you. He wants you to come play on the trampoline with him and Ash." You follow Pika into a separate room that's big, white, and filled with pillows. In the center of the room is a giant trampoline with several Pokémon already jumping on it. You see Onix, Psyduck, and Slowpoke all bouncing up and down together in unison. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Pikachu joins the other Pokémon and you sit down to take off your shoes. You can hear the Pokémon laughing and having fun, and you're eager to join them. Once you're on the trampoline, everybody takes turns bouncing each other into the sky. First up is Psyduck. Everybody counts down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. Everybody jumps up and lands at the same time, sending Psyduck flying into the air. He laughs as he comes back down, landing on the trampoline, and then zooms back high into the sky again. After a few more up and downs, Psyduck laughs as he takes his spot on the side, while Slowpoke takes his spot in the middle. Ash says, "We're going to bounce Slowpoke to the moon." Everybody starts counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. At the same time, everyone jumps up and lands together, sending Slowpoke high into the sky. Professor Oak pokes his head into the trampoline room and motions for you to come over. This is your big moment. Ash flashes you a thumbs up as you put your shoes back on and make your way across the room. You exit the trampoline room and go into Professor Oak's living room. Playing around on the couch and the floor are several little colorful Pokémon. You see Charmander again, and this time he walks up and gives you a hug. You pat Charmander on top of the head, and he makes a little growling sound. Professor Oak gets down on one knee and explains to you that Charmander isn't feeling very well. He had a stomach ache all day and needs to go see Nurse Joy just on the other side of the forest. Charmander hugs your leg a little tighter and looks up at you with his big white eyes. You pat Charmander on the head and tell Professor Oak you are up to the challenge. You grab a map, some water, and a few Pokeballs from the table and head out to find Nurse Joy. You walk out the front door and notice that the sun is higher in the sky and the weather has gotten much warmer. You stretch your arms wide and take in the magnificence of nature all around you. Charmander copies you and sticks his arms wide too. You look down at Charmander, and with his arms stretched wide, he smiles at you. Charmander knows that you have a good heart and that you will look after him. He hugs your leg one more time before you both head into the forest. Back in the forest, all around you are tall oak trees with their leaves blocking the sunlight. The further you walk, the more exhausted Charmander becomes. His shoulders are slouched and he's dragging his feet. You can tell that he doesn't feel good. His tummy must be hurting again. So you scoop up Charmander and put him on your back and start running through the forest, one foot after another. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You are now running very fast and hear Charmander making excited sounds as the wind whips past his face. You begin to tire, but you do not slow down. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You feel like you are flying through the forest. Faster, faster. You run. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and in a split second, you have made it to the other side of the forest. You fall exhausted on the ground, and Charmander falls on top of you, laughing, and rolls over. You both look up at the sky, trying to catch your breath. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold it and exhale slowly through your mouth. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold it and exhale slowly through your mouth. Charmander is breathing in unison with you. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold it and exhale slowly through your mouth. As you lay on your back catching your breath, you hear light footsteps approaching you. Walking from her house toward you is Nurse Joy. She gives you and Charmander a big hug. Nurse Joy is so happy to see you and Charmander. She invites you into her home, and while she's tending to Charmander, you lay down on her couch. You know that Charmander is happy and safe, so you begin to close your eyes. You remember the Snorlax belly breaths that Professor Oak taught you earlier, and you practice them. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Feel your belly go up, and exhale slowly through your mouth, and feel your belly go down. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold it and exhale slowly through your mouth. Here in the world of Pokémon, you are at home. Always remember, Mrs. Honeybee believes in you. You are special and you are loved. I can't wait to see you again.